Red eye in a restaurant? That's pretty much the vibe that I got while watching Drop, but Christopher Landon's new thriller is far more than its source of inspiration. I got to check out an early screening this week, and thank you to Blumhouse for the invite because this is definitely one you're going to want to try to see on the big screen. Drop is best viewed with as little details as possible, so I'm keeping this spoiler free, which honestly is a little bit challenging because there's a lot to unpack here. Christopher Landon is best known for slasher comedies like Happy Death Day and Freaky, and while Drop has its moments of comedic relief, particularly because of one specific side character, there is a completely different tone. Written by Fantasy Island's Jillian Jacobs and Chris Roach, Drop is about a single mom named Violet who decides to jump back into dating only to be terrorized and coerced into doing awful things via anonymous airdrops or digidrops while inside of a high-end restaurant. This film gets way more serious than Landon's past releases, but I think it works as it elevates this conversation around mental health. I don't want to reveal too much, but they highlight this through Violet's flashbacks and decision-making in a really unique and fresh way. But definitely go into this expecting a different approach because it leans hard into psychological thriller territory over the horror comedy style that we're used to from him. My favorite part of this film was no doubt Meghann Fahy as Violet. I've been a fan of hers since The Bold Type, so I'm so happy to see her continuing to kill it. No pun intended. Her performance in this is next level as she really gets to show off her range. We get a heart-wrenching delivery in those flashback scenes that can be kind of hard to watch given the content, but I think it just speaks volumes to her craft. She also pulls off comedic timing with ease and a side of snark before literally diving headfirst into a nonstop action sequence that's worthy of a final girl. I felt like I was holding my breath as the film really slams on the gas in the final act, and Meghann definitely rose to the challenge. Actress Violet Bean, who you might recognize from Truth or Dare, is Violet's younger sister Jen and her babysitter for date night. We get some great interactions between them in the beginning and the end of the film, which just left me wanting more of that. They had believable sibling chemistry, and Jen also has some pretty good one-liners.
Oh, wow. Did you mean to dress like a candy cane?
And while I know the focus is on her date with Henry, played perfectly by Brandon Sklenar, I really wish we would have gotten some more of Jen and Violet's dynamic. The cinematography is also a standout in this film. I obviously felt the red eye influence, but there were a ton of Hitchcock nods as well with the bird's eye angles and low-key lighting method where the subject is surrounded in darkness, which was really cool to see done in a modern way. The bathroom shots in particular are gorgeous and were executed really well. They also used some cool camera tricks to add to this dizzying effect as everything begins to unravel. I was really pleased with this overall, but no movie is perfect, and I would say my biggest issue with it was in the pacing. It takes a while to really get into the action, but there is a lot of context to set up, so it's understandable, and I would say it's definitely worth the wait. I also think there's a moment towards the end that's pretty easy to figure out if you've been paying attention, and while it's still shocking that they actually pull it off, I wish it wouldn't have been so easy to piece it together so quickly. Outside of this one moment that I won't tell you because spoilers, I do think that overall the film did a really good job of diverting your attention and making everybody look like a suspect. I was still trying to figure out who was terrorizing Violet until the moment of the big reveal, which is pretty impressive and definitely makes this one worth the watch. Drop is in theaters beginning April 11th.